Hello, welcome to Dinner and a Show on the road. My name's Brian. Tanner couldn't make it, but it was cool. I got to watch the movie Loving. I really wanted to see this movie. It's a great civil rights story of how interracial marriage was made legal and constitutional in the U.S., or at least banned it in Virginia, or made it unconstitutional to prohibit marriage from interracial couples happening over there. And I wish I did a little more research while watching this. But I saw a couple of trailers for it, and I was really interested in seeing this movie. And it was just a powerful movie of just how these two people, Richard and Mildred Loving, were able to just overcome such hardship and prejudice just to be able to love each other and be able to marry and raise their family the way and where they want them. Because here, I mean, the premise was, it's pretty straightforward. Mildred and Richard, they fall in love. They establish that very early on, because she says that she's pregnant, and Richard's overjoyed and everything. They get married in D.C. because Virginia, doesn't allow interracial couples to marry. But they get found out and they get arrested, and there's good suspicion that it might be Richard's mom. But towards the last act of the movie, it looked like that she was ruled out because she was visiting them and their kids and enjoying their company. So she doesn't like the fact that they got married, but he's gonna do what he's gonna do. So it was just great exploring just how an interracial couple was dealing with prejudice towards the civil rights movement. I mean, Mildred faced a lot of hardship too, because she was left in jail, and while her husband was on bail, as soon as he went to jail. So, I mean, she was there, she was getting harassed by police officers and just townspeople. But I liked how they also showed what Richard was going through too. He was being tailgated by somebody, or he thought he was. There was a brick in his car with a newspaper article about, their marriage. There was just a lot of stuff going on, and his mom, was not for them being married. Mildred's family, particularly her sister, was not very keen on them being married, and she blamed him for what is going on. Because they had to move out of the state. They were pretty much banned from Virginia for 25 years, or that was their sentence until it eventually got overturned. But yeah, it was just really, it was very great to see both sides, and a little bit of prejudice from both sides, not just white people, like a lot of stories about racism are. We got to see from another perspective, from the black perspective of how they just of what they thought of the marriage and stuff. And from their perspective, it was more of it's like you're just asking for trouble. Well, pretty much from both sides, really. It's like you're just asking for trouble, because on the state of Virginia, their defense was pretty much not wanting interracial kids to enter the world. It's not fair for them. They think that they thought that God, put different races on different continents for a certain reason, and that was to not have them intermingle and get married, which is completely ridiculous and stupid. But yeah, that was the way of Virginia's way of thinking back then, or at least their government was. So yeah, it's just really tough. Would say that the movie was pretty slow paced. you'd think that they didn't dramatize it, over dramatize it to, sell something. They kept it, raw, and they just, let us see their lives and how they lived them and what the issues were. And, yeah, it was just, it was pretty straightforward. The Richard, he it almost seemed like he didn't want to go on with the case, but you could tell that there are ways that you could tell that he wanted to, but go on with the case, but it seemed like he just was afraid of the attention. It's like the second on the road video where a cop is pulling somebody over or something. It's crazy. Yeah, but Richard was very shy, very, just not really wanting to talk to a lot of the press and everything. He just wanted to keep to himself. He wanted to raise his family, in privacy. He wanted to be left alone from people. But they weren't letting him. The press, they were wanting to help, and Mildred, let him, or helped him understand that. But Virginia, of course, is not, going to let him have it. They weren't going to leave him alone. So Mildred had to step forward and do a lot of the initiative, because she was the one that wrote to Bob Kennedy, I believe his name was, the Attorney General, I think. And then that's where the ACLU came in, and I really liked everyone's performances, and I especially liked Richie's, because he's just a simple guy, didn't talk much. When he did, you listened. And same thing with Mildred. She was less shy, but she was the one that worked with the media. She was the one that spearheaded the whole movement, the whole taking the case to the Supreme Court. And so it was really cool to see that. And I'm trying to say that, the editing was pretty fun. I liked it was a slow-paced movie, but they were able to get the point across. I was engaged in the story still. There were a few lighthearted moments. Richard is a mechanic, and he kind of helped out with some races a bit, some street races, so he was getting some money there. So, those were some lighthearted moments and everything, but of course a lot of it was very emotional, dramatic. Richard was breaking down towards the end because the movie, they have to speed time up, but they were going through this case for 11 years. So, 11 years, they weren't allowed to live in Virginia. They had to raise their kids out of state. They couldn't, visit their family. The family had to come to them. And so it was pretty crazy. I can't really imagine that, how that was, and the hurt and the pain that they were going through. But I think they conveyed it quite well. I think that's what the movie wanted to get across, just the outrage over the injustice that they had, because they just wanted to get married. They loved each other, or get married, something very similar, like a very similar, issue kind of we're dealing with, marriage being brought up again, like gay marriage. So, I don't know if this is trying to be reflective of that too, or if they just want to tell the powerful story of how Richard and Mildred overcame things in the Supreme Court, and paved the way for interracial marriages to happen. Maybe. I guess you can see some parallels over there. But I think this is a timeless movie, and it isn't going to really age in that sense with current events. So Richard did good. Mildred did really good. I think she played a very supportive wife, but also someone that was leading the cause. Her family was pretty good. I liked her brother a lot. Her brother was very helpful to Richard and just the family in general whenever they needed him. And yeah, it was pretty cool to see. And yeah, despite both sides of families being against them marrying, they decided to marry anyway because they loved each other. And you know what? That's pretty important. I've heard stories of, friends marrying and both sides of the family don't want it or can't stand it, and not saying that these families were. I mean, Richard's mother was, I think, more against it than Mildred's, but because they both knew that they were going to be in a heap of trouble, not just because of the law, but because people have prejudices. It's just going to happen. But yeah, I think by the end of the movie, they were all very supportive towards them and encouraged them when they needed it. Yeah, and I really like the set design. I love period pieces, and when I think of period pieces, I think, colonial, like 1700s, stuff like that. But, for this piece, it was, placed in the late 50s, early 60s, toward, during the march, at the Washington Monument. So, it was pretty cool just seeing, that time setting on screen. And I think for my rating of the movie, I'm going to give a high 5. I think it was a great movie, and I do believe that this will be Oscar material. I think I've watched a lot of Oscar movies this year. I'm really happy, really excited about this year. Hacksaw Ridge, by gosh, I already said that. Arrival looks great, and I am definitely excited for La La Land coming out next weekend. I think that's going to be a terrific Best Picture contender. So, yeah, it's a great year for movies, especially in the fall. I think what kept me from giving it a secret handshake was, I think, just the slow pacing, because that was it did kind of drag the story along when it shouldn't have. And I think there were a lot of scenes that could have been taken out or shortened or rearranged to where it could be better. There were some great scenes where they were just showing some tender moments, like Richard and Mildred watching the Andy Griffith Show while a photographer from Life magazine was just capturing those moments on film. That was a great scene. I love that scene. Yeah, but there are just others that, it's okay, did we really need that? So, I would say, the drag racing scenes, it's some of those, I didn't really understand why they were there. But overall, I think this is going to be Best Picture material. I don't think it's going to win, but I believe it will get nominated, and I hope that the guy who played Richard at least gets a supporting actor nomination. I think he did a terrific job portraying the pain and the resolve of Richard loving. So that's all I got. Kind of rambled a bit, but hope you enjoyed that. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends. Go watch this movie. It's really good, and it gave me just a different perspective on, a different battleground for the civil rights movement. Alright, that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys at the movies next time.